Today, the 13th of February. First item on the agenda are apologies for absence. This evening.
We have proposals from councillors Sarah Miller and Gavin Jackson.
Okay, thank you. Item 2 on the agenda, declaration of interest. Does have any? I see none, so we'll move on to item 3, which is public participation. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak this evening? If so, please raise your hand. I'll call upon you. Please state your name and your issue. Yes, sir, go ahead.
This guy from New Street. I've had to renew the resident parking permit. It's £110. I noticed from the site that of the 12 zones, we are in fact the highest. Oxford only pays 70. Someone pays 66. Abington, I think, about 4th Street paid more than us. I was just wondering why that should be that we are so much higher than others. And secondly, does any of that money come back to us? When I say us, I mean you.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Would you like to say that, Stefan?
Yes, certainly. Thank you very much. In fact, it was only 2 weeks, remiss of me, it was only 2 weeks ago that I actually found out about this, the differential between areas, and I still haven't got to the bottom of why it is. What I will do, if you can leave your name and address, I will, or email address, I will find out, I will let you know. It shouldn't be any more than any others. And the answer is the amount that we pay should only cover the administrative cost of administering the scheme, because that's what happens with all parking and residential restrictions. But you're right to raise it, and I will find out and I will let you know. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Would anyone else like to speak tonight? There's obviously nothing on TV. So we'll move straight on to on the minutes of the last meeting. Are there any comments, queries, and amendments that anybody would like to make on the minutes of the last meeting? No. Can I move those to accept these? Thank you. That's all in favour? Thank you very much. That's carried. We'll now go to reports of committees, and I'll turn first to Councillor Buckley to present the planning committee minutes.
My laptop technology.
And I have minutes of the planning committee, 16th of January. Item 156, apologies for absence. 157, declarations of interest. 158, minutes of the meeting. I believe it was item number 4 on this was the resolve to recommend to full council that the proposed declaration of nature emergency be considered by full council. Was there anybody who wanted to?
Councillor Candia.
Yes, thank you. It's just to say that we would like this proposal to be deferred and the discussion to be deferred to a future full council meeting.
We have to note that.
So this won't be discussed at this town council meeting, but it will be discussed at a future town council meeting.
Yeah. Agenda item 159, public participation. 160, plans amended. 161, plans new. 162,
There's 2 ones.
2161s. 161B. Objections, call applications. 162, decision notices. 163, national planning policy framework. 164, declaration of lawful development application. 165, town and country planning tree preservation order. 166, progress report.
All in favour? Thank you very much. That's carried. We will now move to, well, actually myself, for the minutes of the Recreation and Meetings Committee held on Tuesday, the 16th of January, here in the council chamber. Item 48, apologies for absence. 49, declaration of interest. 50, public participation. 51, minutes. 52, progress. 53, finances. 54, upper marketplace parking space for Henley Park Club. 55, marketplace use policy. 55, 56, Fairmar Verges mowing. 57, Mill Meadows Henley Canoe Hire. 58, Old Fire Station Gallery Room. I so move. All in favour? Thank you very much. That's carried. I now turn to Councillor Lambert for the minutes of the town community meeting.
I present the minutes of the town community committee meeting held on the 23rd of January. Item 67, apologies, 68, declarations of interest, 69, public participation, 70 minutes, 71, communications manager update, 72, town centre manager update, 73, finances, 74, car cruising meets, 75, PCSO, 76, progress.
Sorry,
Councillor Rice.
on the programme reports.
Yes.
We haven't got anywhere on the agenda, but I would just like to say that the town steering group, we plan to call a meeting of the town steering group within the next week or two in order to continue to raise our concerns and about the closure of the beds across Oxfordshire, but particularly in Chiltern Court. We are winning the argument, but we have not made any progress in either keeping or getting the beds reopened. But I am pleased and I welcome the contribution that John Howell, our MP, has made recently to add his voice to the arguments that we've been making now for some 6 months, that those beds are needed by patients, they're needed in South Oxfordshire, and we will continue to make that argument until we think they've started listening. Thank you.
Thank you for that update, Councillor Roseman. All in favour of the, sorry, Councillor Egerton.
We still got progress on Henley Bridge. Is there any update on the repair of this repeat on the bridge? And also the bollard, it says there, which was, as Councillor Egerton had the bollard, it was returned to Park Services about 4 or 5 months ago.
Okay. Councillor Gavshak, are you able to answer about any question?
I can't answer about the bollard, but I can only answer what I've actually said at the last full council meeting, which is to do with the bridge. We're waiting for Oxfordshire and Wokingham to actually apply for planning permission. It's a grade 1 star listed structure, therefore it's got to go through all the right planning permission for the removal of the graffiti and the repairs to the damage to the bridge and also the footway. So all of that's just in hand, and we just have to wait for the planning permission to be approved by Wokingham and SADC, and also Historic England, which has an important part. Fortunately, we just have to wait. Thank you.
That's it, moving
Thank you very much. All in favour of the town community minutes? Thank you very much. We now move to Councillor Riceman for the finance strategy and management minutes.
I'd like to present the minutes of the meeting of the Finance Strategy and Management Committee held on the 30th of January 2024. Item 58, apologies. Item 59, declarations of interest. Item 60, public participation. Item 61, minutes. Item 62, finance. Item 63, expenditure. Item 64, River and Monroe Museum grant. Item 65, exclusion of the public and press. Item 66, legal updates. Item 67, Bath site licenses. I so move.
Thank you very much. All in favour? Thank you. That is carried. And we can now move on to item 6 on the agenda, which is report of other authorities. I'll start with district council report of the verbal today. Councillor Arlett isn't in attendance. Councillor Gavshak, have you got anything to say?
Apart from it's fairly thin, and there's a budget next Thursday going through, so therefore we'll have a full report about the budget next time.
The district and councils.
District. District is on Thursday and county is on Tuesday.
And I just had an update on how I spent my £5,000 for this ward. Was able to split it between 12 different local organisations, including the Chiltern Centre, Oxfordshire Play Association, Henley CAB, Henley Rugby Club, Henley Cricket Club, the Friends of Badgemore School, Henley Youth Festival, Sacred Heart PTA, Henley YMCA, Sue Ryder, D2 and Henley Dairy. we've had no questions, and I don't believe anything was emailed to the town clerk either. So, are you happy to take questions, or do you want to add anything to your county report, Councillor
I
Chair?
will add one thing and then take questions. Thank you. Town clerk, they were printed out for members of the public?
Yes, they were.
Yes, okay, thank you. Firstly, I apologise to council and also residents of Camberley that my county council report was late. I went on holiday last week and the deadline missed me. So it was published on Monday, yesterday. I won't go through all of the report, but I will highlight a couple of things. Councillor Reisman has said with regard to the beds in Townlands Hospital, the report actually says that Dr. Nick Broughton, who is the chief executive of the Integrated Care Board, has established that in fact these beds were NHS beds. Now the thing about NHS beds is they cannot be taken away without consultation. They were taken away in December, and what Councillor Reisman and I will also commend Phil Sims of the Henley Standard, who's done a fantastic job digging out information on this, that what we are saying at the moment, and John Howley is on our side as well, saying that these beds should be reinstated and then a consultation should happen. So that's where we're at the moment. So I think there's still a bit more to run on this particular one. The other one I want to draw people's attention to is the horse bridge at Marsh Lock. You may or may not be aware that that horse bridge, which is the only route from Henley along the riverfront, Marsh Lock, the Meadow, Shiplake, it's the only route to Shiplake, was closed 2 years ago, 2022. It was closed 2 years ago because it is structurally unsound, so therefore it's unsafe. The EA, the Environment Agency, has done absolutely nothing to repair the bridge, and Culdon 4, which is the estate, Schwarzenbach's estate, have very kindly allowed us to use a part of their land to actually walk towards Shiplake. Culdon 4 and Alex Sick have got fed up with this. They've run out of patience, and they've said at the end of March that route will be closed. So therefore, the only route to get from Henley to Shiplake will be to come up Mill Lane, go along the Reading Road, dice with death to do with the cars and lorries to actually get to Shiplake. So therefore, what we are trying to do is put pressure on the Environment Agency to actually get it fixed. I have heard from Oxfordshire. I have not heard from the Environment Agency at the moment. The Oxfordshire says, we are currently waiting to hear from the Environment Agency, who are reviewing all the technical and legal aspects associated with the bridge. Whilst both this bridge and Temple Bridge in Marlow are priority bridges for the local community in Thames Bath, funding is the ultimate issue. And we need to work in partnership to prioritise the funding. We have numerous closures along the Thames Bath, including a landslip at Ensham Lock, flood damage to the Environment Agency Bridge in Runnymede, and the refurbishment of Benson Weir. In other words, Oxfordshire come out with a long list of why there are funding pressures for it. My view is, and I will carry on putting pressure on this, is that route to Shiplake is a priority for fitness, for health and well-being, and there is no alternative route. So therefore, come on, Environment Agency, get your butt into gear and get it fixed. And again, I will thank Alex Dick and Culdon 4 for their kindness in actually opening up the footpath route. I would hope that if the Environment Agency come out with a plan, that route may be allowed to stay open. But without a plan for the repair of the bridge, I think Culdon 4 are actually quite right to close it, because the Environment Agency have well, gently taken the mick. So, I will have further reports after, for next full council. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Elshott, for the update on those important issues. We'll now move on to Mayor's civic engagements, which is on page 25, as you can see after. Oh, reports from outside bodies, sorry, there's me skipping ahead, thank you, Town Clerk. Are there any reports from outside bodies? In that case, we'll go to what our first, but it's actually agenda item 8. And you'll see after the probably busiest November and December I've ever had in my life, it's been significantly more quiet. There are a few amendments I do need to make because a few of these after a knee injury, I wasn't able to make at the last minute, unfortunately, but it's certainly been a lot quieter month. There's still some really great things. And one of the really great things to see was another heritage board installed. I hope there are loads more of those as well. We continue to do those. And an event for Henley Debt Relief, which was particularly fantastic. So now we shall move on to item 9, which is the 2024-25 calendar of meetings. I will now move to Sheridan to make an amendment.
Thank you very much. So I've got a couple of requested amendments on this. The first is on the 19th and 26th of November. There is a request to swap round the Recreation and Amenities Committee meeting and the Town Communities Committee meeting, simply so that the T&C meeting isn't in the same week as the Christmas Festival. The other amendment is around the end of August and basically pushing back the meetings from the 20th of August back by a week for the next 5 weeks. So that means that there'll be no meeting on the 20th of August. Planning would be on the 27th of August. Full council will be on the 3rd of September. Planning and recreation communities would be on the 10th of September. Town community would be on the 17th of September. And then on the 24th of September would be planning and finance strategy and management. And then it would go back to us on the schedule.
That's fantastic. I'm happy to propose that from the chair. Seconded. Thank you, councillor Hunt. All in favour? Thank you very much. We're still on this item. Are there any other amendments that anyone would like us to consider before we move on? No? Okay, in that case, we shall move on to item number 10, which is Tesco ANPR system and barrier. We have a report on page 31, which was written by our Deputy Town Clerk, Kath Adams, who is in attendance. Is there anything you wanted to add, Kath?
No, thank you. No, nothing to add. There are members of the whole club here in case councillors have any questions.
Okay, thank you very much. Just to before we start, just to make you aware, although most of the content of the meeting is confidential, there has been a meeting between the police, Tesco's, myself, and Councillor Lambert as chair of town community as well so far. But we have an agenda item in front of us because obviously we do own that land, it's leased, and anything that happens there happens by the permission of this town council only, or it doesn't happen. So can I pass to Councillor Ian Meissner to start off on this, please?
Thank you. I think as most people know around the table and also across the town, a number of problems at Tesco car park over the last 6 months or so, where a number of meetings have taken place where cars have been driven noisily and dangerously, and that's happened repeatedly. And so this item is really a response to that, in order to make sure that that we respond to this issue and make sure that the town, the peace and safety of the town is preserved. And that's very important to this town council. But there are other stakeholders as well who need to be involved. Tesco, obviously, the police, obviously, and the district council. But I'd like to make an alternative proposal to that that's on page 33 of the agenda, which is that this council resolves to continue to work with Tesco and other stakeholders to prevent these future car meets and the antisocial behaviour that they present to the town, to consider final recommendations at a future full council meeting prior to its implementation, and to instruct Tesco not to deploy and operate ANPR at this time, and number plate recognition at this time, without explicit permission from this council, which is required under the terms of their lease. And the reason for that is that, as I think some people are already aware, tickets have been issued because ANPR has been installed there without our permission, and there are time limits that are now being imposed on people who park there, and that is causing problems for organisations in the town, such as the sports clubs. So this is designed to make sure that we work with everyone together to produce a solution which is successful in meeting what the residents clearly expressed need is, which is that we continue to want to have peace and safety in our town, and that these events are not compatible with that. So I so move.
Thank you. That's seconded by councillor Lambert. Would anyone like to speak to it? No? Oh, sorry. Very quickly.
Just thank you, Madam Mayor. Just very quickly, I was very pleased to encouraged to hear from Tesco that they were proposing to try some alternative solutions as well to this issue. And that is simply one that I think is glaring us all in the face, which is they just need to mirror what they're doing on the north side of the car park with the south side of the car park. And that is to make sure that there are elements of street furniture around to break up the vast amount of tarmac that is on that side of the car park. So they're proposing, initially some what's known as van stops, which are shapes, between car parking spaces, sort of every 5 to 10 spaces, where they just put in low curbs, and then in the middle, they will plant a decently sized tree. That seems to me like a perfectly adequate and sensible solution, and will mitigate the need for any kind of ANPR. So I encourage Tesco, I do hope we have encouraging talks going forward with Tesco, and I welcome their proposal that they will try these mitigating ideas first. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Lambert.
Yeah, just like.
So, one moment, because councillor Lambert seconded it, would anyone else like to turn to councillor Buckley first, because once you've spoken, then we'll.
I think the whole point about ANPR is that Tesco seem to be quite happy to put ANPR in as a money-making scheme for themselves, potentially. ANPR has been shown through the meetings with the police that actually it isn't effective with the drivers of the cars, and therefore, do we really want to support ANPR, which is impacting how people are impacting football? So I'm quite happy with this.
Councillor Lambert.
Yeah, along the same lines as councillor Buckley, it's been pointed out by the Henley Standard who attended the car meets that some of the cars had the licence plates removed. So using ANPR to fix the problem simply won't work.
Thank you.
Well, okay, why not?
The whole problem of this has been caused by the drivers of the cars after 9 PM. So ANPR during the day is a complete and utter waste of time. So I agree that we should have a meeting and we should come up with some sensible solutions to this problem. There's got to be a problem to the people doing donuts, but there's also for safety, but it's got to be in line with the users of the car park, the hockey club, AFC Henley, and also Cafe Scientific as well. So let's have a meeting and let's talk a good solution.
Before councillor Riceman summarises, I would just like to add 2 points. My first is that I'd actually like to thank the Tesco's team. We met with the head of security, licensing, the store manager, also Thames Valley Police. We met with the local neighbourhood team and with Thames Valley Police licensing also. They've been really open to communications and trying to fix this problem, and I'm actually really grateful to that, because it's certainly not us versus them. It really is everybody needing to work together to tackle the issue and get it resolved and not create more problems in the meantime. And the second point is that when we had this meeting, there was one thing that actually it made me quite angry, if I'm honest. I have received several messages over several platforms, every social media platform, emails, about this issue at Tesco's with the car meets. The Tesco store manager herself has received over 100 emails, complaints about the car meets. Thames Valley Police received significantly less than both of us. People did not report this to one-on-one. Instead, they went on Facebook, Henley Community Matters, and they wrote 200 comments when actually they could have gone online and reported the issue so that the police could prioritise it. And they didn't. Instead, they chose to write on social media and write to me and write to the store manager instead of writing to the police who could have actually attended. And so I really, really would like to urge anybody that is disturbed by the car meets at Tesco's to report this on 101. You don't have to phone up. You can do this as online. It's actually as fast as writing a few Facebook comments. So please, please, when you have an issue and it's of a criminal nature and you believe that there is a risk to public safety, you report this to 101 or you report this to 999, depending on the severity of the matter. Thank you. That's the last thing to listen.
Yeah, thank you, Madam. And I completely agree that we need to continue to report this in the right way. Both your points are right. And also, yeah, we need to continue to work as well as we have been with the other stakeholders, particularly Tesco, who are engaged, recognise this problem and are keen to resolve it, and as are the police. I also completely agree with Councillor Thomas's remark. There are solutions that really ought to be straightforward to implement, but we do need to go ahead, discuss it, and make sure that everyone is in agreement. And we should do that as a matter of urgency. And I don't see that ANPR is the solution. I think self-evidently it's not. But we should keep an open mind about how all the different possible options work together. And come back with a proposal, at which point we can make a final decision on what we, as the landowner, we wish to make. So I strongly urge that we indicate that we have a clear plan on. Oh God, I'm sounding like Rishi Sunak.
We forgive you.
That we have a clear plan of what we want to do. We're going to bring one back to this council and make sure that this problem doesn't affect residents. It doesn't continue to affect residents as soon as possible. Nice overview.
Thank you. All of those in favour of the proposal? Thank you very much. That's unanimous, I believe. And with that, we close the meeting. I'd like to welcome you all into the Mayor's Parlour for some refreshments. You get to chat to the councillors, which is got to be the most fun part of your evening. Don't us with any issues. No, it would be great to see you all.